This isn't just about Asia getting her shoe, Asia being only the second African American woman to have her signature shoe with Nike. It means a whole lot to me, especially being the first. I don't know if I thought there would be another black female athlete to get a signature shoe, and to see that happen and to be around to witness it. I think of all the little girls out there who can dream and have goals, to know that those dreams can become a reality. It touches me in a special place.
It was about Aja Wilson claiming she wasn't marketable, suggesting she was being held back due to her race, and implying Caitlin Clark's popularity stemmed from being white. That was May of last year. Now it's May this year, and we've got the same athlete who just had a signature Nike shoe that reportedly sold out almost immediately, still making similar statements. She's supposed to be one of the faces of the league. Look, I'm not saying Aja Wilson isn't incredible on the basketball court. She definitely has skills. No question about that.
Of why there's only one team and one player in the league that draws all the ratings and the rest of the players don't. Because fans, regular sports fans, are very aware of the identity politics, the virtue signaling, and all the rest that has come out of the mouth of these players over the years. Regular sports fans are very aware of this being an activist basketball league. And there was never a reason to watch, because you don't want to support people that you hear this kind of crap from all the time. It's nauseating. The NBA's drop in ratings because of statements just like this as well.
But comments like these make people hesitant to purchase your merchandise or give you the support you're probably seeking. People are just tired of it. This explains why only one team and one player in the league attract all the viewers while others don't. Regular sports fans recognize all the identity politics and virtue signaling these players have expressed over the years. They're aware this has become an activist basketball league, which never gave them a reason to watch, since nobody wants to support people constantly making these kinds of statements. It's sickening. NBA ratings have dropped because of similar comments.
I mean, the NBA's having a little bit of a ratings rebound, and it's because Adam Silver actually did a "we're not going to get into that anymore" kind of declaration at the right before the beginning of last year. So here we are, Aja Wilson doing it again. This is Outkick. WNBA star Aja Wilson continues to make wild claims about race. The Las Vegas Aces star is a dominant force in the league, but she also invites a lot of controversy and criticism for stupid comments.
The NBA is seeing a slight ratings comeback because Adam Silver basically issued a "we're not going there anymore" statement before last season started. So here's Aja Wilson doing it again. According to Outkick, this WNBA star keeps making outrageous claims about race. The Las Vegas Aces player is dominant in the league, but invites controversy with foolish comments.
Specifically, Wilson appeared to have an issue with the attention Caitlin Clark, the woman responsible for elevating the league, received after joining the Indiana Fever. She told the Associated Press following in 2024, when talking about race and marketability, quote, "I think it's a huge thing."
Wilson apparently had issues with the attention Caitlin Clark received after joining the Indiana Fever, even though Clark is responsible for boosting league interest. In an AP interview, Wilson connected race and marketability, suggesting that no matter how excellent black women perform, they'll be overlooked.
I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. It really is, because you can be top-notch at what you do as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. They don't want to see it as marketable. So it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what all we do as black women. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. Well, we'll get to some numbers in a minute that's going to knock all kinds of holes into that argument.
Let's check some numbers that completely contradict her argument. Anyone hoping Wilson would focus on basketball will be disappointed. The New York Times recently published a profile where she again claimed she's not as marketable as someone like Caitlin Clark because of her race. Seriously? She got criticized last year for this, and now she's doubling down. Wilson told the Times it's 100% about race regarding marketability issues.
Well, anyone who was hoping Wilson would just focus on playing basketball is in for a big dose of disappointment. The New York Times recently released a lengthy profile of the Aces player, and again, she claims she's not as marketable as someone like Caitlin Clark because she's black. God.
Worth noting that Wilson has a Nike deal and her signature shoe sold out within minutes. You'd think she'd be happy with her success, especially since few WNBA players secure big endorsement deals, but apparently that's not enough. Michael Jordan became a billionaire largely through his Nike partnership. LeBron James might be politically outspoken and annoying, but he's possibly America's most recognizable athlete. The list continues. The notion that American consumers won't buy products associated with black athletes is laughably absurd.
My God. Quote, it's 100% about race. Wow, she got drugged last year over this. And now she's doubling down again. And it's one of those things where we can sit there and we can say all the time, but there's always going to be somebody that's like, well, no, you're just making it about race. Well, you are. So Wilson told the New York Times when talking about race and marketability.
Here's something interesting. Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty played in last year's semifinals, which got 850,000 viewers. Meanwhile, a preseason game in Iowa featuring Caitlin Clark against the Brazil national team attracted 1.2 million viewers. There are different levels of marketability connected to likability. Who's likable? Shaquille O'Neal, who last I checked is black. He endorses Papa John's Icy Hot Frosted Flakes, earning approximately $60 million yearly in endorsements.
It's important to point out that Wilson has a deal with Nike. Her signature shoe sold out within minutes of hitting the market. You'd think she'd be happy with all of her success, especially because few WNBA players have big endorsement deals. But clearly, that's not enough. Michael Jordan is a billionaire in large part because of his relationship with Nike. LeBron James might be woke and insufferable, but he's also probably the most recognizable athlete in America. The list goes on. The idea that American consumers won't buy products tied to black athletes.
Michael Jordan has made $4.115 billion in endorsements, about $300 to $400 million annually. LeBron James earned roughly $85 million from endorsements in 2024-25. Last I checked, both LeBron and Jordan are black. This whole argument is ridiculous. I keep saying not much will change this season, and this is exactly why. It's about likability, plain and simple. It's absolutely crazy.
It's so comically stupid, it's hard to believe it's a serious argument. Agreed. Who did this? Who? Yeah, my boy, David Hookstead over there. Okay, so we'll get to some reaction from that because people are like, come on, give me a break. But before we do, let me point out something.
Some people sarcastically noted that white consumers never buy shoes from black athletes, which is obviously untrue when you consider Jordan's Jumpman brand is arguably the biggest athletic brand worldwide. By making these statements about racism, Wilson damages her own marketability and appeal. Her focus on victimhood causes her downfall. She's hurting herself with these comments, making herself unlikable despite being a great basketball player. The list of successful black athletes with massive endorsements goes on. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Shaq, Serena Williams, and many more.
Las Vegas Aces, New York Liberty were involved in the semifinals last year. A lot of this is flat about likability and people wanting to support their teams, yada, yada, yada. The semifinals got 850,000 views.
The WNBA lost $40 million last year. It's basically a charity operation. I'll be honest, because of attitudes like this and players like DJ Jane Carrington, if Caitlin Clark gets injured, this league will immediately drop back to 450,000 viewer ratings.
All right, it was not the last preseason game, but the one in Iowa against the Brazil national team. Caitlin Clark got 1.2 million views on that game, a preseason game. All right. So there's levels of marketability that's tied to likability. Guess who's likable? Shaquille O'Neal.
These players don't understand the connection between this type of rhetoric and the league losing money for years. It also explains why Caitlin Clark receives so much hate. They're witnessing her popularity rise, but don't like her appearance. 1 year later, still saying the same ridiculous things. It's unbelievable and baffling to me.
For this game, tickets for this game actually sold out within the hour when it was announced, and people were lining up for over 3 hours before the game just to get into this arena. So to say that this game was highly anticipated and was hyped up would be an understatement.
Caitlin Clark stood completely stunned, and surprisingly, not because she sank a far distant shot or broke another achievement. Nah, it was an occurrence even more exceptional. The complete Brazilian squad and their instructor gave the sort of jaw-dropping admiration that caught even the most composed athlete in the sport unprepared. The squad formed lines seeking signatures. She wrote on their tops. They were getting her to write on their tops. She was autographing the athletes' tops. This resembles legendary stuff. This literally resembles legendary squad behavior. We haven't witnessed this since the famous legendary squad. She is literally autographing the tops of squads she competed against. She is writing on their tops. They're that impressed by her.
Well, my goodness. This news will probably leave Angel Reese's mom in shambles.
This wasn't your typical "she's fantastic" comment. This was a microphone moment from a basketball veteran, and it left Caitlin staring like, was that real? Imagine getting praised openly with words so genuine and surprisingly flattering they might serve as a career highlight. That's the caliber we're discussing here. And guess who faced the identical squad days earlier and didn't receive similar appreciation? Angel Reese, and she's outraged.
At this point, of course, she's upset. She made a couple of comments a couple of days ago about people literally covering statistical data involving attendance. That's a problem. That's hate.
Now let's truly acknowledge this. Brazil, the nation of dancing, athletic superstars, and tasty meats, just incorporated Caitlin Clark worship into their cultural character. Who would have guessed? In an exhibition contest, not a final, not a championship showdown, Caitlin commanded such attention she practically shifted the basketball world. Brazil's head instructor, a man who's likely coached longer than most enthusiasts have existed, observed her abilities and reacted like he'd witnessed a female version of Michael Jordan. This wasn't admiration, it was devotion.
Caitlin Clark's preseason debut drew 1.3 million viewers. That's nuts, folks.
The squad she competed against yesterday, and I realize many team members were inexperienced, but the squad she competed against yesterday, capturing images with Caitlin Clark after the contest, having her write on their tops, and those tops, you can bet the instructor of the opposing squad being amazed. Like, this represents legendary squad status. This represents the rivals capturing images with the legendary squad.
And just to give you an idea, I did pull up other ratings from that day. This game beat NHL playoff ratings. Think about that a minute. National Hockey League playoff ratings, a WNBA game, a preseason WNBA game, not only beat those ratings, destroyed them. I think the highest rated NHL game was roughly 430,000 viewers behind this game.
And it continued. The instructor didn't merely offer praise and finish. No, he practically enshrined her instantly. This wasn't the kind of insincere flattery you receive from some dated analyst still reminiscing about the 90s. This was authentic elite appreciation. He praised her like she was a mythical being, like she had wandered from Olympus, grabbed a basketball, and decided to spend time in the WNBA. And coming from someone whose homeland revered soccer like a belief system, that kind of adoration is premium.
More watched than any NBA game, preseason game, since 2018. So that's been a long time ago. All but 2 NBA preseason games since 2010. So this game, only 2 NBA preseason games in the last 15 years had bigger ratings than this game. One of them was LeBron's Los Angeles Lakers debut.
Brazil, their coaching staff had zero solutions whatsoever for Caitlin Clark. And they attempted so many different strategies against her. Like, I've never seen a squad attempt so many different strategies against a player. But hold on, it improves. After the contest, Caitlyn didn't simply exit like a superstar. She remained behind to autograph Brazil's national team top at their request. Consider that. She, Caitlyn Clark, basketball's current star, signed their squad's top like it was merely another weekday. That wasn't a signature. That was a generational memento. That was like an artistic genius autographing a masterpiece. That's how memorable this moment was.
This was a preseason WNBA game. Do you understand what I mean? A preseason WNBA game.
And here's the greatest part. Caitlyn didn't act with arrogance. She didn't give them a smug expression or make them wait while she adjusted her shades. No, she signed that top with elegance, with allure, with the kind of dignity that makes folks question if she's actually human or simply the model for the ideal athlete. While Angel Reese stays occupied blocking supporters and stating on social media she lacks time for these minor things, Caitlyn's over here creating international bonds with her signature.
So this is what an actual crowd looks like. Chloe Peterson put this up. That is a sold-out arena. 14,998 people. That's all it could hold. They all showed up in Caitlyn Clark's college arena.
Meanwhile, Brazil's athletes just hours earlier were doing their finest Caitlyn impressions, attempting to match her long-distance shots during warm-ups like they were auditioning for a comedy clip. After the contest, those identical athletes were lined up like devoted followers at a show. Phones ready, eyes wide, pleading for photos and signatures like she was a pop star with a basketball.
For this game. So there were 14,998 people in attendance for this game at Harvard Hawkeye.
Caitlyn stepped onto the court and actually performed what they wanted her to accomplish. Sank a long three with such simplicity that made the crowd gasp. She didn't act for cameras. She just casually destroyed expectations as usual. The Brazilian group, still recovering from the shock of witnessing brilliance, realized they weren't merely on the wrong end of a highlight. They were included in it, not the kind you desire, the kind that ends up in every sports compilation for the next 10 years.
I saw somebody earlier say it. No, man, she really is Jordan for this era. There is not a single national, look, never mind, forget the WNBA for a minute. There's not a single National Basketball Association player that is moving the needle anywhere close to this right now. Let's be real. I mean, fans lined up. I mean, come on.
They were present. They were knocking her down several times. They were being physical. They were blocking her. They didn't try to quit during the contest. They simply couldn't manage it. They're so thrilled. They're capturing images with her after the contest. They're capturing images. They're capturing images with her like it truly is. That's the contrast. Caitlyn doesn't merely participate in contests. She dominates them, while her counterparts spend time stirring up social media disagreements or launching business partnerships that disappear quicker than a Reese jump shot. Caitlyn's reshaping how the WNBA functions.
The college where Angel Reese won the national championship, she made a homecoming and the arena was less than half full. 13,215 available seats was the capacity. They didn't even sell half of those.
Then her misses are magnificent and prepare her teammates for achievement. Look at this gentle bounce off the rim, put back by her teammate, swish. Just stand in the corner, tap your shoes together thrice, and move to the hoop. Caitlyn Clark will locate you every single time. You know who didn't receive that kind of welcome from Brazil? Angel Reese. No photo gatherings, no instructor quotes, no tops signed like they're valuable treasures, just vibes and a couple of missed layups.
This Caitlyn Clark preseason game outdrew the finals game 1 rating from last year. Oh, get mad. Get angry. These folks are going to be livid.
It's almost like respect must be earned, not declared on social media. Because let's be truthful, when's the last time a foreign instructor gushed about her abilities? When has a national squad lined up for her signature like children at an amusement park? Brazil showed Caitlyn Clark more respect in one evening than Reese has extracted from years of self-promotion. And that's the issue. Reese keeps demanding to be the highlight while Caitlyn just keeps producing them.
She is the needle. I mean, honestly, all the while you got Angel Reese's mom. By the way, she put this out in the public space. And as part of that, we can give commentary on it if we want to. And we have seen it over and over and over again. Instagram followers do not translate into viewership on television during actual basketball games. It does great if you're a content creator. Good on you for that. But that's not what we're talking about here. Caitlin Clark is a different phenomenon, a phenom. She's right there. She's proving in comparison to the National Basketball Association.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll reflect in 20 years and think, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one individual. She refuses to mention Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to understand that." And while Reese's supporters are probably frantically refreshing their mentions, Caitlin's just taking bows after casually reminding the world why she's the face of the league. She didn't request the spotlight, she seized it, and now the whole world, from Iowa to Sao Paulo, knows the reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just excellent, she's worldwide.
Average reported ticket price was $650. Now, if you do the math here and you do 15,000 people times $650, that is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason game.
Brazil didn't just observe an athlete, they observed a movement. And like the rest of us, they want to join. Because when Caitlin Clark steps on a court, she doesn't just alter the contest, she alters the environment. And if Angel Reese wants to know what that feels like, well, she'll need to do much more than practice posing for cameras. There's a reason the Brazilian squad didn't pose for pictures with Angel Reese. There's a reason they weren't sharing highlights of her jump shot. Because when Caitlin Clark's in the gym, the vibe shifts, the atmosphere transforms.